All right, we're at Sebring Slot Cars with our third race of the day. Scott Van Buren starting in the LMP class for Sportsman LMP on white. Don Parsons on orange. Jim Bell on purple. Victor Abreu on black. And we're going to take off and go to our first heat. There you go. Yeah, because I want to get as far as I can get over here. See the benefit of that? He's out. Sorry, Jim. Got to put it in twice for the same off. Well, that was pretty. Slid into second base. Track. My left hand until it got hit. Wasn't happening. I hit it twice. Oh, out of time. Heat over. Heat over. That explains that. All right. Scott Van Buren and Victor Abreu tied with 22 laps. Jim Bell, Don Parsons tied with 21. Looks like Victor may actually, no, Scott's right there. So Scott's in the lead by a straightaway in the bank. Scott's fixing to hit the lap counter. Fast lap goes to Jim Bell with a 5.028. Victor Abreu with a 5.070. Scott Van Buren with a 5.240 on white. Don Parsons with a 5.261 on orange. Good time, Don. Might turn your sensitivity down, Victor. That or maybe back off your brake a little bit. We'll call people out on that. I get called out enough.
something in the white. Anyone on white? Stop. Track.
Yellow flag. Go. 10 seconds left. 5 seconds left.
Good lap there. Heat over. Good job.
Heat over.
All right. Jim Bell leads at 45 laps. Scott Van Buren and Victor Abreu tied at 44. Don Parsons 42. Let's see. Fast.
Go.
Don't even talk to you, Jim Bell. Just ignore him. Oh.
That ruined all that.
No, I didn't. He's still in. That only cost you a quarter of a lap. Don't worry about it. Just drive.
Halfway through the race. 1 minute left.
Well, there's a race. Victor Abreu and Don, man, they're getting it. Stay on him, Don.
20 seconds left.
Well, good run there, Scott.
5 seconds left.
Wait for him.
Heat over.
Heat over.
Wow. All right. Well, Jim Bell still leading with 68 laps. Scott Van Buren and Victor Abreu tied with 67. Don Parsons 63 coming off the red lane. Laps that segment. Jim Bell, Scott Van Buren, Victor Abreu all with 23. Don Parsons dropped a couple at 21 on red. Fast lap goes to Jim Bell with a 5:07.5, Victor Abreu a 5:09.2, Scott Van Buren a 5:1.31, and Don Parsons a 5:4.70. I was talking about me, trying to get my car ready for next race.
Go.
See it? It's too fast for you, wasn't it? Just a blur.
5 seconds.
Heat, good heat. All right. Jim Bell, Scott Van Buren now tied at 91 laps each. Victor Abreu at 89. Scott picked up a lap on Jim Bell with 24 laps that heat. Jim Bell had 23. Victor Abreu and Don Parsons each with 22. Victor had one off, I think, one that I know of. Fast lap goes to Victor Abreu with a 5:040, Scott Van Buren a 5:075, Jim Bell with a 5:100, and Don Parsons a 5:303. Excellent, excellent heat. So we got heat 5 coming up. We're halfway through the race.
Go. Halfway through the race. 1 minute left.
Very good.
I take my job serious. Heat over. Good heat, guys.
Heat over.
Wow.
Going to green.
Scott Van Buren is your current leader with 114 laps. Jim Bell second place with 113. Don Parsons 111. Excuse me. Victor Abreu 111. Don Parsons 107. Laps that segment. Scott Van Buren is the only one with 23 laps that segment. Jim Bell, Victor Abreu, Don Parsons all with 22. They all ran a good heat. Fast lap goes to Scott Van Buren with a 5:049. Victor Abreu on red with a 5:122. Jim Bell on white with a 5:193. And Don Parsons on blue with a 5:279. So good racing there, as you can give me.
Yellow flag. Go.
paint job.
Yellow flag.
Sorry, Victor. If you're gonna wreck, do it over here where I can reach it.
I'll keep that
Ready.
in mind.
Okay. Nelson's bored. He don't have nothing to do. These drivers have gotten good.
I know. They only come off right at you.
Because they trust me.
20 seconds left.
I was moving on Don's car and it didn't even come out.
10 seconds left. 5 seconds left.
Heat over. All right, let's see what the change is. Oh, Jim Bell and Scott Van Buren tied at 136 each, and Jim's coming off a red lane. Jim ran a heck of a red. Wow. All right, so we got Scott Van Buren. Who's in the lead? Jim Bell's in the front straight. Where's Scott?
Right behind him.
Okay, so Jim Bell's actually in the lead by about 8 or 10 feet. Scott's right behind him, just coming through the lead on the front straight. Victor Abreu, Scott and Jim 136, Victor Abreu 134, Don Parsons 130. Laps that segment, Jim Bell, Victor Abreu, Don Parsons all 23, Scott with 22, so Scott dropped a lap. Scott had 2 or 3 offs on black. Fast lap goes to Scott Van Buren with a 5:03.1. Victor Abreu a 5:09.5, Jim Bell a 5:2.58, and Don Parsons a 5:2.81. Great racing, great racing. We got 2 heats left. This is number 7, and then we'll be into the last heat. You good, Don?
Ready. Go. Yellow.
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt.
Halfway through the race. 1 minute left.
Scared me. Scared you too. You ain't never been put in that fast, have you? I was reaching. At least I started my body that way. Something bounced on your car. Bad. You need to check it when you. Yeah, something bouncing.
Oh, like crazy, yeah.
Tire off the rim or something.
Heat over.
I don't know.
Everything looks fine. Oh, here it is right here, front tire. Just coming off a little bit.
Oh, I see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Need to glue it sometime. It might have been from me dragging it on the track, Don, to get it in the slot. All right, Jim Bell's your new leader at 159 laps. Scott Van Buren exited to second place at 158. Victor Abreu 157. Boy, we got a tight race. We got one heat to go. Whoever wrecks next is going to lose a position. Don Parsons 150. Laps that segment. Victor Abreu, Jim Bell each with 23. Scott 22. Don with 20 with a couple offs. Fast lap goes to Victor Abreu with a 4.981. Wow. Scott Van Buren a 5.130, Jim Bell a 5.135, and Don Parsons a 5.508 on black. So we got one good heat to go. Let's see what these guys can pull off. Hold on, Matt. Track. Gotcha. Sounded rather demanding to me. Wow. Jim Bell's your leader in the orange car. Scott had a couple offs. It cost him a lap or two. At least a lap anyway, and so he just doesn't have time to make that up. He just needs to hang on to second place and be proud. And second place is a race. We got Victor Abreu and Scott Van Buren running hard for second. All right, heat over. Great race, guys. Great race. All right, Jim Bell is in 2.6. Good race. Everybody raced good. All right, Jim Bell is your official winner with 183 laps. Scott Van Buren at 181. Victor Abreu with 180. Don Parsons 171. We'll have after-race interviews with individual racers here in a moment. Segment laps, Jim Bell with 24 laps. Scott Van Buren and Victor Abreu each with 23. Don Parsons with 21. All right, Jim Bell, what do you attribute your victory to, Mr. Bell? Was it your mechanic staying on the track? Turn and face the cameras. I mean,
on the track.
Yeah, we're on that one right there. We're on that camera right there.
Yeah.
So, you stayed on the track.
Yeah.
Was there anything special you did for your car?
No.
No?
Nothing special.
Well, you ran good. You ran good. Come over here, Scott. This is second place, Scott Van Buren. All right, what happened?
Well, first off, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Sour Patch Kids and Mountain Dew.
Oh, good.
Second, I just tried to keep up with Mr. Jim.
He was feisty this afternoon or
Yeah.
this morning, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
Hard to keep up.
He was dialed in
After
today.
that first race,
He said it's on.
It's on. Okay.
He was
He
dialed
put his
in
money
today.
where his mouth is.
Well,
that's
very
for sure.
good. Very good. Victor Brew, you got any comments?
That's as good as it gets
You're,
today.
you're speechless, in other
I
words.
am.
Don Parsons. Oh, there you are, Don. What do you think about all this?
Oh, my driving was lousy as usual. It's always fun.
Actually, you drove pretty good.
Yeah.
These guys drove amazing. I mean, if you look at the lap count, I mean, that last heat, Don, you had 21 laps. Group C, that's a good thing. Jim Bell turning 24 laps that last heat is an amazing feat. Your pros rarely do that. Great race, guys. Well, we'll get some pictures and we'll move on to the next race.
5031.
Oh, we need a.
That's pretty darn
hell,
good.
what-
That's
Need the foam finger.
yeah, right.
I'll bring one.
We might have to get one that says Sebring Slot Cars on it.
Foam finger
That's what we need.
Let's take
or a
care
helmet.
of Jim Bell, Scott. Let's make sure he's
or a helmet.
Yep. All right, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, I'm up 3.
Okay. Thank you, guys.